Alright, so moving on, my next batch of records are from the local Goodwill, where records are 3 for $1 or 10 for $2, I think. Picked up, I think, 6 records here. Had a pretty good haul this day. I was pretty excited about it. First up, some Al Kaiola, good studio type guitar player. This is solid gold guitar, goes Hawaiian. Kind of silly. I think all these guitarists, Billy Mirror, Billy Strange, Al Kaiola, Tony Mottola, they all had to do a Hawaiian music record, but yeah, here, check it out. It's from the Explorer None Such Explorer series, some world music here, a bell ringing in the empty sky, Japanese shakuhachi music, shakuhachi music, whatever. Some more jazz here. This is Skip Martin's Symphony in Jazz, Swingin' with Prince Igor and Tannhauser. Skip Martin was kind of a West Coast Hollywood, I guess, arranger type guy, and recorded a series of albums for the Somerset Stereo Fidelity label, and they're really all worth picking up. This one's kind of a weird record. It's a mixture of sort of symphonic classical music, and then all of a sudden a jazz band kicks in. It says Skip Martin's adaptation for symphony and jazz band, and that's really what it is. They kind of trade off, sometimes play together, the symphony and the jazz musicians. Interesting record. Some of the players on here: Pete Gandoli on sax, Irv Cotler on drums, Red Mitchell on bass, Gene Estes on vibes, Al Hendricks on guitar, Jimmy Rowles piano, Paul Horn on sax and flute, Dick Nash trombones. Yeah, some really good players on here. So anytime you see Skip Martin, the name Skip Martin on one of these Somerset Stereo Fidelity labels, and you tend to see this label a lot in thrift stores, pick it up and give it a listen. Pretty interesting stuff. Yeah, another jazz one. This one on the Grand Award label, which is kind of where the guy from Command Records, Enoch Light, got his start. And I think this is one of his productions here. Yeah, originated and produced by Enoch Light. There's a guy named Rex Stewart. Rex Stewart and his friends. Rex Stewart was a trumpet player. He played in Fletcher Henderson's band and I think Count Basie's band, or Duke Ellington. I think Duke Ellington's band. But when Louis Armstrong left Fletcher Henderson's group, he recommended Rex Stewart to take his place. Excellent trumpet player. Really cool record. His friends on the record include Al Kaiola on guitar, Milt Hinton bass, Don Lamont drums, and Mo Wexler on piano. Cool record, kind of a mix of different styles on here. Kind of some older swinging and almost Dixieland music, and then some more kind of modern 50s jazz type stuff. Neat record. And what's cool about this is like a week or two before I bought this, I found a jazz book in one of the stores in town, one of the thrift stores, and I didn't know anything about the author, but apparently the author was a jazz musician, and guess who the author is? Rex Stewart. This is Jazz Masters of the 30s, and so pretty cool. This is a collection of his writings for different, I guess, jazz magazines and stuff. His recollections of a lot of the guys he played with, Count Basie, or knew Count Basie, Duke Ellington, I think, Red Norvo, the guy who played vibes, and xylophone back in the 30s. Really neat book, Coleman Hawkins, and written from the perspective of someone who actually played and toured with these guys. So, neat book. Cool to have the book and the record. And so the next two are really cool. One of my fellow thrift store diggers came in right after I got there, and I beat him to the records this time. Usually he gets there, he goes every day to the thrift stores, I don't. But I got there just a few minutes before him, and I think he was kind of jealous, so I found some pretty cool records, these next two. This one on the Time Records label. You see this label in thrift stores a lot, but usually it's kind of like easy listening, ping pong percussion type stuff. But they did a few really serious jazz records. But this one is Max Roach, award-winning drummer, on the Time Records label. So you got Max Roach on drums, Booker Little on trumpet, Arthur Davis bass, George Coleman tenor sax, and Ray Draper tuba. This one really nice shape, so I was really excited to find that. Didn't have any Max Roach records. And then the next one, I've already got a vintage copy of this and a box set reissue with double album and CDs and DVD and all that stuff. But this is Miles Davis, Bitches Brew. Early, very early pressing. Nice gatefold. It's got a little bit of water damage on the inside, but otherwise in really nice shape. And I think when it first came out, it came out on the 2i label, and then the same year they did more pressings on the Columbia, I guess they call it the Columbia All Around label or something. Your typical 70s Columbia label. Really nice shape. Not sure, I might trade this into the record store for store credit or give it away as VCLT or something. So I've already got a couple copies of this album. Fantastic album. Alright, next up, I bought this the other day and I cannot remember where the hell I bought this thing, but still sealed, some 80s kind of electro hip-hop on a label that's more of a kind of a reggae label. I haven't popped the seal on it yet. It's Joe Gibbs's label. Let's see, Joe Gibbs Music Corp from Opelika, Florida. This is the Invisibles with Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong, Catch You in the Break. A lot of early hip-hop stuff and even some reggae stuff got into the video game culture. Yeah, some of the dub reggae guys, a lot of early hip-hop and electro stuff. You know, the Pac Jam, things like that. But this is, so you got the Donkey Kong Catch You in the Break, and then the flip side is Donkey Kong Dub Mix. So pretty cool. And a little quick story about that. I'd seen at the Habitat for Humanity thrift shop, been going there, like I mentioned, I go there every once in a while. It's not my favorite thrift shop, but they had a, looked like a late 80s hip-hop record. Guy named Stevie B doing Nightmare on Freddy Krueger Street. I just kept looking at it thinking, man, that looks cheesy. I think a lot of hip-hop just kind of went lame by the late 80s before it kind of picked up with the gangster rap thing. A lot of the older guys like Dougie Fresh just kind of got lame by the late 80s, in my opinion. And so I looked at it and just kind of like, I just kept ignoring it. And I was in the record store the other day, Aerozame Records here in town, and I just happened to scan the records on the wall, the high dollar items, and what do I see? That goddamn record on the wall with a price tag of $175. Shit! Apparently it's a very collectible record. It's not quite what I thought. It's more of like a Miami-based techno type thing with, you know, kind of some vocal stuff, you know, like I don't think it's actually stuff from the movie, but someone pretending to be Freddy Krueger or something. But apparently it's a very collectible record, and if I'd bought it for whatever, 50 cents or $1 and brought it in, I could have had some hefty store credit probably, but I just kept passing it by. So the lesson from that, for me, if you see something you don't recognize, look it up on the phone, look it up on Google, Discogs, whatever. It might be worth a lot more than you think. So that was kind of painful, but whatever. And then finally, I know this is a long video and I apologize for the length, but I want to get these, I want to get this stuff kind of documented. Part of the reason I do these videos so I can look back on them myself and remember where the hell I bought some of these records, because I just forget over time. So these are all from today, from a thrift shop I don't visit all the time. I can't remember the name of the thrift shop, but it used to be a lighting store. It's like a two-story building. They used to sell nothing but like lamps and light fixtures and stuff, but they do get records in every once in a while and CDs. I found a few interesting things over my visits, but it's not a consistently good one. But today I noticed they had a pretty decent stack of records in their little slot on the bookshelf, and so I checked them out, and there's some pretty neat stuff. I guess these are all from the same collection. There's a little sign that said records 50 cents, but some of these were individually priced. And so I went to the counter. They said, yeah, someone just brought this collection in. Some of these records are worth $30 or $40, but we can't really get that much here, so that's why we priced them for $1. And some of these are worth some money, but I don't think they're worth 30, 40 bucks. Most of them aren't worth more than a couple bucks. But anyway, some neat stuff, interesting stuff, fun stuff. This is Dr. Seuss presents The Cat in the Hat Songbook. My wife and I collect Disney records, and early on we collected some different children's records type stuff, and got a soft spot for the Dr. Seuss type stuff. It's pretty neat, so we'll probably add that to the collection. A series of kind of horror themed records here, kind of neat. First up on Golden Records, Golden LP kind of kiddie records from the 60s, I guess. This is Alfred Hitchcock presents Ghost Stories for Young People. Kind of neat. Not in perfect shape. It's got some silver duct tape sealing up the seams on top and bottom, but not done too horribly. They kept it nice and thin. Next up on the Wonderland Records label. So really audiophile vinyl, I'm sure, on these audiophile pressings, but interesting subject matter. This one, Famous Monsters Speak, written by Cherny Berg, the voices of Gabriel Dell. Now for the first time on this record. So it should be interesting. Just kind of cheesy, fun stuff. So you got Frankenstein and Dracula. And I don't know if you believe the cover. You got the Wolfman and the creature from the Black Lagoon, and who else there? The Mummy? Weird. This one looks like an older one. This is Themes from Horror Movies in Ghoulish High Fidelity on the Coral label. Dick Jacobs and his orchestra. That looks kind of cool. Music from The Son of Dracula, The Incredible Shrinking Man, The Mole People, The House of Frankenstein, The Horror of Dracula, Creature from the Black Lagoon, It Came from Outer Space, Tarantula, The Revenge of the Creature, This Island Earth. Weird stuff. You know, I probably, from like a lot of people my age, grew up with, didn't have satellite TV. We had, you know, just the little UHF, VHF channels, and on the weekends there'd always be like a creature feature, old black and white horror movies. So used to watch a lot of those on the weekends growing up. That's what a lot of this stuff is, these old black and white horror movies. And finally, in the same vein, this one on London Records, Phase 4 Stereo. Music from the great movie thrillers, music composed by Bernard Herrmann, for motion pictures directed by Alfred Hitchcock. Bernard Herrmann conducting the London Philharmonic Orchestra. So music from Psycho, North by Northwest, Vertigo, The Trouble with Harry, Marnie. Nice gatefold here. So yeah, that was kind of interesting. And then a few different things getting off the horror tip here. Soundtrack type stuff. This one, a double album set on Chess Records. Although, oh, this is interesting. It looks like a French pressing distributed by Vogue, French label. This is Bo Diddley, Got My Own Bag of Tricks. Double LP gatefold set for $1. Can't go wrong. I'd buy that for $1. Yeah, I didn't actually look at the vinyl here. I just figured, cool. Oh yeah, So it's got the chest label, but it's got the little SACEM, which is kind of typically your French, oops, where is it? Over on this side, I think. French rights management. I think the Germans have like the BIEM. French have the SACEM. Here we have like ASCAP. Yeah, pretty cool. Okay, so we got the Vogue inner sleeve, printed inner sleeve. Pretty neat. Yeah. Here in town, here in Gainesville, Florida, we have a plaza downtown where we have live music and stuff, festivals called, dedicated for Bo Diddley, called Bo Diddley Plaza. So this is kind of cool. This one I had in my record collection years ago and got rid of it. One of my 2 or 3 purges of my record collection, I guess between moves, not wanting to deal with moving 200 pounds of vinyl, or just kind of losing interest. I don't know, but I used to have this record and I got rid of it. So kind of neat to find it again. Yeah. This is David Bowie's with Eugene Ormandy conducting the Philadelphia Orchestra, Peter and the Wolf. David Bowie narrating. Eugene Ormandy conducting. So it's kind of cool. It's almost like if you're a pop music fan, you'll dig David Bowie. If you're a classical fan, you'll dig Eugene Ormandy. It's almost like a record with 2 covers here. And what's really cool about this, if you haven't seen it before, it's an RCA Red Seal record, but it's on green vinyl. So yeah, pretty cool for $1. And got a nice polylined inner sleeve and a printed insert. Cool. Nice to have that back in the collection. And then finally wrapping things up, 3 more records from the same shop. I don't really collect this guy's music, but I always like to pick things up like this and give them a listen. If they don't really strike my fancy, I'll trade them in, because these are probably worth some money, some good value in trade at the local record shop. So we got Van Morrison, Tupelo Honey. This one looks like a gatefold here, and pretty nice shape. I see these things at thrift shops every once in a while, but they're not always in very great shape. This one is I think a German or Dutch pressing. Something a little different. You get the record cleaning machine. I'll clean these up, get the fingerprints and dust and stuff off, and if they don't strike my fancy, I'll probably trade them in. Another one, Van Morrison, St. Dominic's Preview. Sorry if I'm slurring a little bit. I apparently bit the hell out of my tongue last night while I was sleeping, and my tongue is like, feels swollen and it hurts. Yeah, another one. This one's in pretty nice shape. Got some ring wear, but it's I think this one is an earlier Warner Brothers label, kind of that green label here. And then finally, this one looks like it's worth more money than the other 2. I guess more collectible, but it's got some seam splits and stuff, although the cover art's in pretty good shape. This is Veedon Fleece. Van Morrison Veedon Fleece. I don't really know much about Van Morrison, except Brown Eyed Girl. Yeah. Well, looking forward to cleaning these up, giving them a listen. Maybe trade them in from store credit. I've been doing some of that lately, and having pretty good success. So, and I'd rather have it in the hands of someone who appreciates his music than sitting in my collection just to say I have it. So, and this one is a later Warner Brothers label. I think they call this the Burbank label. So it's the street with the palm trees on either side. This one's probably, I don't know, in VG condition. Got a few light scuffs. Might be worse than that when I clean it up. We'll have to see. But apparently it looked like, just from looking up online, worth the most of the 3. So we'll see what the record shop does if I trade them in. But yeah, that's kind of the thrifty roundup recently. Sorry about the length of the video, but I just wanted to squeeze this thing, because I don't know if I'll have another chance to make videos in my next few days off here. And next video I'm going to try to squeeze another one in today. It'll be stuff I bought from the record stores here in town or the kind of the book music store. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.